It's time for the Josh Kirby on Sports Podcast.
On this edition of the Kirby on Sports Podcast, we talk about our experience at the Washington football team versus Kansas City game. We talk about Dallas versus New England, the Buffalo Bills versus the Tennessee Titans, the hurry-up offense, and so much more. Coming your way next, you're listening to the Kirby on Sports Podcast.
Shout out Q. Shout out Q.
Oh, indeed. I'm glad you connected. This is Dave Johnson, voice of the Washington Wizards. You have connected to the right place because you are listening to my man, Josh Kirby, on Sports Podcast.
Coming to you from the Trumbull Insurance Agency virtual studio, this is another edition of the Kirby on Sports Podcast. Turn your stress and anxiety into peace and security with Trumbull Insurance. Contact Patrick Bankemper today at 540-532-0622 or drop him an email at patrick@trumbullagency.com. For our sponsors, Regroup Building Services, PM Plus Reserves, Shenandoah Primitives, Dr. Dave Leadership Corporation, and Mark Francis with Icon Real Estate. I am joined once again by Dan Dembski and the Swiss Army knife, Carlos Martinez in the three-man booth. Another week of the Kirby on Sports Podcast. Gentlemen, how are we?
Doing great, man. Energized, ready to be back in it. Here we go.
Boys, I only have one thing to say. You hate to see it. You just hate to see it.
You just hate it.
You just really hate to see it. We will get into that later, but you just hate to see it, Carlos.
You hate to see it, man. It's so heartbreaking. It's heartbraking, but
let me take off my hat for that one and hang my head in shame.
Revenge has never tasted so sweet. So sweet.
You hate to see it. Gentlemen, we're going to take things in sort of a different direction. We have the games that we will be talking about, but first and foremost, we are going to talk about our day. We headed up to Landover, Maryland to watch some football, some exciting football.
It was football. It was football. It was
good football on one side of it.
It was good football, but on one side, not the other side. And Washington only putting up 13 to Kansas City. That sort of showed how exciting this game was. But nonetheless, it was a great experience. It's such a great experience. We got the three-man booth together again. We could have gotten there a little bit earlier, but Dan
shut the hell up. Oh my God.
Here we go again. Already starting there.
We got there before the gates opened and we got in pretty easily. I don't see what your issue is.
No, it was just a joke me and Dan had in the car. He took the wrong exit and then he got super mad.
Yeah, I got mad. People get mad.
Hilarious.
All right, let's move forward. Let's get past when we pick Carlos up.
I mean, the absolute slander on our names, Dan. Like,
oh man, but it was fun though. The whole trip was a
your
blast.
Slander class.
How are we feeling?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, how are we feeling after this trip? Excited, depressed that it's over with because it was only a short amount of time, but
I'm excited for our next trip.
Totally agree.
When we go to a Ravens game with Dan, because we owe Dan a game since, he took one for the team and came to see a game where he had no vested interest in either team. Now we owe him a game where we don't have a vested interest in either team.
But it is fun to see Patrick Mahomes play, man.
Oh
that was awesome. That was awesome to see all that live. That shuffle pass that he did was freaking awesome.
Yes, and the roll out to the right side and tossing it to a wide open.
Even though it didn't
was that
count?
Tyreek Hill? I'm not even sure. Yeah, true.
Yeah, the
For sure.
one where he juked out the defender and still made the throw, but it ended up not counting was pretty awesome. I mean,
Yes. It's the most awesome play that's never counted in the history of awesome plays.
And we got to see it live. We got to see it live, boys. We got to see the game live.
Just seeing Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs was pretty remarkable to me because you could see in our seats how the play was developing, who was open, who wasn't. And it was just pretty great. I mean, the way the seats were, we could see everything. And you don't really see that on TV.
Even though when I told you where the seats were at first, you were like, oh, we're in the nosebleeds? Oh my God.
My nose itches.
And then the whole time when we're finally up there, you're like, oh my God, these seats are amazing. And I'm like, yeah, there's a reason why I picked them because you could see the whole field.
50
the slander on my name right now. Unbelievable.
Yeah, flip switch, son. Here it is. Great seats. Yeah, and that is a great thing about it is you could definitely see everything. Even like stuff like holding penalties and all that. You're kind of surprised what you can see that far up, even though it is pretty far away. But it's just like, damn, like it's just so cool to watch from that vantage point with a bird's eye view, being able to see everything develop in front of you and. Yeah, and then you're like, throw it to so and so, they're wide open, and I'm like, like Mahomes or Heineke's gonna hear us. It's just funny.
Yes,
I think the best part was always when Tressway would come out and Kirby would start.
Oh my God!
Yeah, Tressway.
He's their best player.
I loved it.
And then Carlos admitted how good Tressway is.
Oh, he's a great punter.
Oh my God, you really do not get to truly appreciate what a punter does until you see it live. Those were some beautiful punts. I can't believe that. I truly cannot believe how great Tressway truly is.
Just the height and the perfect spiral. Oh man. Amazing.
It's like
and then the guy two seats down from us starting to sell the team
chant. Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, okay.
And then the guy sitting down from him had a sell the team shirt on.
Yeah.
It was
and
like,
don't forget the Cowboys fan wearing a Dak Prescott jersey.
There was a Cowboys fan with a Seahawks fan with an Eagles fan, and the Eagles fan chucked like a pair of sunglasses like into the lower bowl.
I did not see that.
Classy Eagles.
Yeah, me and Dan did.
Yeah, they show out all the time.
Yeah, but the Cowboys fan wearing the Dak Prescott jersey, he screamed, "Go Cowboys!"
No. That was another fan somewhere else.
Yeah. It was over like 2 seconds.
Let's go Cowboys. I was like, what are you doing, dude? They're not even here.
He was trying to stir the pot. It was obvious he wanted to piss people off.
That was
funny.
funny.
Job of it.
Yeah.
And then we were sitting next to a Packers fan.
Yeah, I talked to him.
He was pretty cool.
Yeah, he was cool.
We're sitting next to a Packers fan. Dan is watching the Ravens-Chargers game. Kirby's trying to FaceTime people during the game, and I get
I do that. For it. I do that sometimes. Yes.
I don't understand why you do that. Like that pissed me off because I'm like,
how can you hear anyone?
Be here. Be where your feet are. Stop worrying about other people and showing them where you're at. Enjoy the experience.
Yeah.
The
experience was still great though.
It was because you listened to me and you stopped worrying about your phone.
Yeah. Exactly.
We got to see Sean Taylor's. Well, me and Dan actually didn't.
No, you all left and I stayed in line.
I'm sorry, I had to take a piss.
We didn't expect a 2-minute thing. We thought it was going to be longer than that.
Okay, nonetheless,
they really fumbled the bag on that.
Nonetheless, the Washington football team.
There it is.
Absolutely botched it. I mean, no matter what
we're actually getting into the game. There's still more stuff about the experience that I would like to talk about.
No, the jersey retirement. Yes, there were things that Washington could have done differently, and I agree with that. But just being there in person, witnessing a player I grew up watching, knowing, and eventually loving his style of play, who tragically lost his life, to get his number retired and attending that game that meant the world to me. So I mean, I'm not going to get into what other fans are saying about how the ceremony was held, so on and so forth. But it was just great to see his number retired. The first 10,000 fans got towels. We all got a towel. Mine's hanging up on the wall back there. But I was just very honored to see Sean Taylor's 21 get retired.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
Yeah, most definitely, and it should have happened years ago. I mean, it should have happened after the incident, I think.
Maybe not directly after, but definitely like
it's
a couple years
within
after,
a few years.
even.
Right.
Like the fact that it took almost over 10 years for this to happen is insane. It's insane. Like you already shrined his locker.
Yeah.
Why not just retire his jersey? What are we doing?
I think it was 2007, so it's been 14 years.
It was the first year that I actually started following football like religiously was when he got killed.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's crazy. It's just and it's like we said, it should have been done long ago. It was a good thing they did, but obviously the questions surrounding it we're not going to get into that, but there's a lot of those, we could get into the weeds about the situation surrounding it, of course, and how they handled it and all that, but we're not going to do that. But yeah, it was good to be a part of that, for sure. And of course we didn't know until everybody else knew, like 3 days before the game, that, hey, this is going to happen. So
yeah, like we had already planned to go to this game, and then it just got added, they added value to it that Sean Taylor's jersey was going to be Kirby.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it worked out pretty well. For sure.
Yeah.
But are we gonna finally touch again on the fact that Kirby spent 2 hours in the lower bowl trying to get autographs from every player?
No, pictures, not autographs.
Whatever.
Well,
and then the
I'll
fact
tell
that
you
he's
why.
trying to slander us for not
being
all that time
down there with him. First of all, there was no room. Like, what would you just stand in the row behind you and yell too?
Yeah, I mean, it was.
Sorry,
what I'll say,
we're sorry we let you down. Okay.
What I'll say is, I saw a lot of media people. That's who I like to talk to.
Yeah, I get that.
Even before we walked in, we see Rio Robinson from the Rambling About Washington podcast. Shout out to Rio. Great guy. Jalen.
Oh, yeah, he was nice. He was super nice.
He was great.
Super nice and chill.
Yeah, I know. He's a podcaster. It's all about the connections here. And then I see the hog farmers at the gate get a picture.
Yeah,
with
that
them.
was cool.
They support pediatric childhood cancer and do a lot to support that. So I appreciate their initiative there. Going down to the lower bowl, I mean, starting off, I'm just going to quickly shout out, Charlotte McBride, WUSA 9, grabbed a picture with her. She does great work. And I didn't expect this. Evan Washburn from CBS Sports, because it was a CBS game. I was like, Hey, Evan. And he said, what's up? And I was like, can I get a picture? And it was just great for all these people coming up. And I just like getting pictures. It's like a keepsake for me, And like,
no, that's pretty cool.
I'm not really worried about the autographs, so to speak, but if it's somebody,
I wasn't being serious about the autographs, but yeah.
But then
we're not. Sorry, go ahead.
But then, backup quarterback Kyle Allen. I was like, "Hey, Kyle, can I get a picture?" And he was like, "Sure." He was very personable. Jonathan Allen. He was great. I was like, "Hey, can I get a picture?" And he just took the moment to look at the camera and smile. I sort of got a photo up with Chase Young, but he was running off the field and he was popular. Like Chase Young, out of all the players, like interacting with the fans, Chase Young had the most photographers going over there when he was autographing stuff.
Of course.
And you saw a lot of people. I saw Ron Rivera went up. I was from a distance, but I yelled, I yelled, Ron, I love you.
He acknowledged you. I saw that.
He acknowledged me. You saw that. That was pretty crazy. I thought that somebody like the head coach of the Washington football team would not acknowledge me, but that happened. Jack Del Rio. Del Rio, I yelled at him.
That we didn't see.
He didn't acknowledge me. He was too busy. I guess
Jack Del Rio seems like a dick, but
he is. I mean, that's kind of part of his job
Yeah.
as the coordinator. So
Yeah. But
He's not
anyways,
gonna-
I mean, meeting my good friend Pete Haley from NBC Sports Washington, Alex Flum from WDVM, Scott Abraham from ABC7, Mitchell.
Yeah,
Tischler.
Scott.
Scott,
Yes, Scott, the man.
Scotty
Scott,
A.
shout out to Scott Abraham. Mitchell
Shout out.
Tischler from NBC Sports Washington, and Darren M. Haynes, WUSA 9. I've had him on my show as well. But
Yeah.
the greatest part, seeing Joe Theismann come out of the tunnel and I get a picture with Joe Theismann. I mean,
Joe Theismann, the last great Washington quarterback.
I
Pretty
mean,
much.
I mean, I've watched highlights of him. I've seen how he played through highlights, obviously, and I've seen him. He seems like a pretty great guy, and for him to get a picture with me on alumni weekend, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And
That's a big deal. Yep.
yeah, it was great. And I did not get a picture with Doug Williams, but I did. He did acknowledge me. I did say hello. So that was pretty great as well. But I mean, other than that, standing by the home team tunnel, seeing them come out, because the last football game I was at was probably 17 when Washington played the Vikings. But I mean, seeing the team run out onto the field and seeing them do their workouts and stuff, some players look a lot bigger than on TV. And it was just crazy to see. And not to mention, I forgot to mention this. I saw Jennifer King. She acknowledged me. I told her, love your story. You're doing great work. And Samus Reyes, he was once a DoorDash driver, and now he's a tight end. I said, great story, Samus. That was great as well. And I don't think anybody else acknowledged me, but it was just great to see. I saw Ron Rivera's wife. Come on. But I saw Ron Rivera's wife.
Yeah, I was like, wait, yeah.
I saw Sonny Jurgensen on the sideline. I mean,
pretty cool.
Sonny Jurgensen's getting up there in age, so I was surprised he was out there. But it was great seeing the alumni and stuff. I didn't see Clinton Portis, but Clinton Portis was there with Sean Taylor's family. But all in all, it was just a great experience down there by the tunnel.
No, very cool. And like you said, one thing that gives you, other than an opportunity to obviously chat with people who you want to chat with, it gives you a chance to like you said, see players up close and realize like, holy crap, Chase Young is huge. Like you don't notice it. These are things you don't notice on TV because obviously TV makes reality a certain way. But once you see Chase Young and other players in person, you're like, wow, like they are literally human specimens of greatness and power. And it's just like, holy crap, like it's no wonder Chase Young was so good last year. Like he's a freak.
Yeah.
And you don't get to appreciate it until you see him like standing like 20 feet away from you.
Yeah,
So.
me and Dan were Kirby was standing up on the front row, whatever. Me and Dan were kind of back in the aisle, and as soon as Chase Young came out, me and Dan looked at each other. We were like, "Oh my god, that dude is a freak!"
Yes,
Chase Young is so big in person. I'm just like, oh, he's an alien. He's not he's not from here. Like he's not from this planet. Like me and him, we're not the same. We're not the same species. We're not. I'm not like Chase Young at all.
Right, exactly. No, exactly right. Yeah, and then like it is pretty cool, Kirby, like that you got like your pictures and stuff with people, because that's something that you will remember, and like you said, it's something to look back on and say, cool, look, I met Joe Theismann, or got a picture with Joe Theismann. Met is different for different people, so we're not going to really go there, but I think
we're just glad you had a great time. You had a great experience, while me and Dan just went up to our seats, or went up to the seats, and we just sat there and waited for you. I mean, you had a good time, and you got to connect with people, and that's like one of your strong suits, is connecting with people.
The biggest thing. Yep, exactly right.
You're gonna make me cry, Carlos.
Shut the hell up, Kirby. All right.
He squashes it immediately. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I mean, for a first football game for me, anyways, because I've never been to an NFL game like at all. Growing up, this is the first time I've ever gone to an NFL game. I just want to thank you guys, because like this is a great experience. It was so much fun, dude. And like I cannot wait for us to do it again.
Yeah, I would say the same.
I want to plan something soon.
Yeah, me too. It's been 6 years for me, so it's been a long time, and yeah, it was. Yeah, I went to the last game I went to was good old Ryan Mallett at quarterback. So try to forget that as much as possible. And mustard yellow pants, which they've only worn once. Anyway, that's a random thing, but yeah, I just want to thank you guys for that, because like when you're with your family, it's one thing. Like, you know, I don't know. It's different when you go to a sporting event with friends versus family. Like it's there's just a different kind of vibe attached to it. So I think like going with you guys was a lot of fun. It's like the first time I've been to like a you know, an NFL or any professional game with someone other than my family or my dad or whatever. So I mean, as much as I like going to games with my pops, it's pretty cool to get to go with friends and like experience it in a different fashion in that respect too. So yeah, it was awesome.
And I do have to apologize publicly to Carlos. I slapped him with my towel when I thought.
Oh, I punched you back. I punched you for that. I was like, dude, don't hit me.
Because I thought Washington recovered a fumble and I was getting so hype and I was like, let's go. But it was on the ground and I was like, oh, okay. And
we talked about the guy behind us who was slurring by the second quarter, and you really couldn't understand anything he was saying. He's like,
and Kirby kept egging him on.
Yeah, Kirby was just, yeah, you're right, you know, and just.
And I did
throw preaching to the choir. Amen. Hallelujah.
Oh man.
And I did throw Carlos under the bus a couple times, saying he's
every time you had a chance to.
And you act like I couldn't talk my way out of it. Like they were gonna hate me for it.
He doesn't have a voice. Kirby
like,
just became his voice.
Listen. I got a silver tongue, bro. I could talk myself out of any situation.
That's right.
All right.
It was just all for fun,
it's a gift to be able to do that.
Yeah,
indeed, it is.
It
is a gift.
But then after the game, I think we were walking by some sort of VIP lot, and players were coming out, and I was like, "Wow, they're right there."
No players were coming out at that time.
Well, I saw some luxury cars, so that makes
you see luxury cars because there's rich people who park there too.
Yeah, they're probably like season
none
ticket
of the players were leaving yet.
Yeah,
like the game had just ended. They hadn't even gotten out of their pads and showered.
Yeah,
it could have been like luxury box people or something.
That's what I'm saying.
Parked there. Yeah.
I don't know, but I saw that and fans were gathering around. They probably wait a long time for those players to come out.
Probably an hour. Sometimes.
Not us. We had places to be, and Kirby was trying to get us to stay, and we were like, "Nah, dude. Like, we already have to beat traffic as it is.
Yeah,
we have to go back to my dad's house so I can pick up my car, so that we can then go to dinner." I mean, damn, I didn't get home until like freaking 9:30 that night.
Yeah,
like it was such a great, and of course, it's because we then went to, you know, a restaurant. I don't know if we're gonna shout out are we gonna shout out the restaurant that we went to?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, Buffalo Wings Factory in Reston, Virginia. We went there.
Very nice place.
Very nice, great food, great atmosphere, and then we stayed and watched the rest of the Cowboys Patriots game.
What a game!
Of course, we'll get into that eventually. Not yet. We're not ready to get into it. But yeah, you know, the fact, Kirby, I don't know why you thought that we were gonna stand there. I understand you wanted to stay and see that, but we didn't have the time. Like, we just did not.
Yeah,
there's no way.
Yeah, but I mean, all in all, it was a very fun experience. I mean, FedEx.
Oh, hold on. We haven't even talked about the fact that a dad, like the people that sat in front of us, the dad and his two kids that came for like a quarter and a half of the game and then left
very early in the game. Yeah,
I don't know what to think about that. Because
do you think
it's an
we
NFL
annoyed them?
game.
I don't think it was us though, because like it's not like we were doing too much. I mean, Kirby maybe, but
well, you and I were just making some snarky comments about everything, so maybe that's what it was. Could have been. I guess.
Maybe Kirby was annoying them with trust Way. That shit always gets me. That's probably the highlight. Every time Trust Way came out, I was like, Kirby, Trust Way's out.
And he dotted some punts inside the 5. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he was your MVP in that game for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic.
And
which is sad.
I think the highlight of it all was winning those Washington football team sunglasses. Those were pretty nice.
You didn't win it. You didn't win them.
That's
okay?
true. Carlos
Somebody
won.
gave them to you because they weren't even a Washington fan. I was the winner. I had the paper, but then I was like, I don't want to go get them.
Carlos had the money, and he just showed you some of it. You're welcome. Yeah.
Yeah. So
is
there was
that
a
something
giveaway,
do you all think that's something they've done to try to, like, I don't know, interest more fans or something because they've had such a hard time filling seats there? Or is that something that...
I mean, that was the one disappointing thing that we saw while we were there, was the fact that the stadium was not full.
So empty.
But it feels like that's happening at a lot of stadiums. They're having trouble filling them.
Yeah.
But I mean, also FedEx Field is just a nightmare to A, get to, and then B, get out of. And then just even the experience itself, while we had a good time, still there's just, I don't know. I don't know what it is, because, like, of course, we went to that game on Sunday, but on Saturday, I went to Audi Field to go watch DC United, of course, play Nashville to a 0-0 draw, 0-0. Still a good time. But, like, there's something that's so beautiful about Audi Field that just isn't beautiful about FedEx. I just don't understand.
Probably because it's newer than FedEx.
I mean, sure, it's newer,
Location,
but I mean, come on. I mean,
ownership, fill in the blank.
Yeah.
It's everything. It's everything. I mean,
it's not like Audi Field is even doing anything crazy, you know, of like, it's a soccer stadium, you know, right. But like, just something about it, like, A, it's easier to get to. B, it's just, I don't know. It's just something about the atmosphere of the stadium just feels so great. Where like FedEx, like, yeah,
it's not
like,
there.
Again, we had a great time. We were surrounded by awesome people or whatever. And like the stadium did kind of get loud, but like, it just doesn't seem like it's a place people want to go to.
Totally agree with that. And it's sad, but I mean, it's also like a symptom of what we've talked about in the past with this ownership and, you know, all the stuff that's come out over the last 2 years, really, but here recently as well. It's just like, you know, obviously the culture there for a long time hasn't been great. Who knows if it's even still fully resolved, but that's been a big part of the problem. Obviously, the losing has played a part in people just not showing up. I mean, people aren't gonna, you know, come if you're gonna just lose continually. Last year being sort of an outlier in that, you know, you had a losing record, but you made the playoffs in that division. So, I'm not trying to crap on Washington football team, but like, you know, there's a lot that still in my mind has to change if they're going to get more fan interest. And
they definitely have to somehow up the fan experience, because I feel like that would go a long way in making, if they're not going to get a new stadium anytime soon, that would go a long way in making FedEx more enjoyable. Right. Because the fan experience there is, and the prices for food, oh my God, that's so expensive.
Yeah, learn from the Falcons, Dan.
Agree.
Learn from the Falcons.
The Falcons are doing it correct there.
Yes.
In their pricing for things. I mean, golly. I mean, just for 3 chicken tenders and a small thing of fries and a soda, it cost me $21.
$21.
Like, that doesn't even cost, like McDonald's is cheaper than that. You know, like for Dan, like Dan got a beer and a water.
It was 21, I think, or 22.
It's the same price as me with food. It's so ridiculous. The prices are so ridiculous there. I mean, yeah, just FedEx, Washington, just do better. Just do better.
Now that's everywhere across the board, I think. Because
except Atlanta. Atlanta's the outlier where the food is.
Because if you go to a Caps game, it's maybe a little bit cheaper, and I'm not sure what Audi was like, their food prices, if you saw them.
Well, the other thing about like Audi Field is they have such a variety of food that you can get there. Goddamn, you can get pupusas there. Like, that's a Latino delicacy for us. Oh my God, you can get pupusas. Holy shit. Like, awesome. Like you can get that. You can get like sandwiches, burgers, freaking tenders, spicy chicken tenders. I mean, and like, they're not that expensive. It's not as expensive as FedEx. Like, it's like, I don't know, man. They got to figure their pricing. It's ridiculous.
So do you get some pupusas on Saturday?
Sir, pupusas, not pumpusas. This isn't pumpkin shit. All right. Put some respect on that dish's name. Okay. I'll slap the shit out of you.
I'm sorry.
I love his attempt. He tried. He really tried. But
This
I'm
reminds me of
sorry,
the time
man.
he tried saying chips con queso, but he said chips
Yes.
con queso.
Queso. Yes. I was trying to remember what word that was. I'm
Carlos
glad you
keeps
And
remember.
then he
Line.
tried to get on me about the correct way to say it. I'm like, Kirby, I'm Hispanic. I know what it's. You know what? We're not even going to get into this because we're going completely off the rails here.
We're off
How
the
about we
rails
talk
here.
about the actual game now?
Yeah, let's talk about the actual game. Tressway is their best player. Dustin
Yeah,
Hopkins-
Tresley!
Yeah,
Yeah!
yeah. Dustin Hopkins missed a field goal. He ended up getting cut. And the Chiefs ran all over the Washington football team. I don't think there's much more that needs to be said.
They didn't run. They passed all over the Washington football team.
They passed.
Let's get that correct.
Yeah, I mean, excuse me. Excuse me.
Oh, good
Very
grief.
tired. It's typical Washington. They play a good half, and you think, they literally were. I mean, it was a 13-10 game at halftime, and
They had us Chiefs, like us there that were supporting the Chiefs. They had us worried, like truly worried. It did not feel good.
But me, as a fan of the Washington football team, I knew it was a false sense of hope.
well, and
But it was fun. That Ricky
It's-
Seals-Jones touchdown, wide open. I was like, oh my gosh. That was
Well,
incredible.
I mentioned this to Carlos during halftime. I said, look, if there's any team out there that makes the best adjustments at halftime, it's going to be Andy Reid in this offense. They're going to be able to turn it on. And we saw those.
You did say that.
We saw how poorly Patrick Mahomes played in the first half, but I mean, he came
played
out
so
and
bad.
He fired on all cylinders in the second half. And everything worked for Kansas City in the second half pretty much. I mean, they had no problem throwing the football. They scored 7 in the third, and then, those 2 touchdowns to ice the game in the fourth, which is just the icing on top of the cake for them. This game was, the Chiefs were heavy favorites. I think everybody had that thought in their mind. And, Washington just can't seem to never ever play a full 4-quarter game. They seem to have lapses here and there. And that's not just this season, it's past seasons as well. So, Kansas City they're interesting to me because they're 3-3 now, and they're obviously not in my opinion the top of the AFC now. I think there's several teams up there that are having better seasons, have not stumbled like they have, but they're still not out of it. I mean, they could go on a run here and put themselves right back in the conversation. So I don't think that's anything to forget about. So, Tyreek Hill also very fun to watch in person.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
His speed, just the way he just runs routes, gets wide open, because the Washington secondary in that second half, just bumped my mic, couldn't do anything. They couldn't play man, they couldn't play zone, and they couldn't get to Patrick Mahomes either. And even when they almost got to Patrick Mahomes, he was able to use his legs, get outside the pocket, and just make some insane throws. And to me, that was the difference in this game. It was, first of all, the Chiefs defense stepping up too, and that's something Carlos and I talked about. They couldn't stop Washington at all in the first half. It was ridiculous. They adjusted really well, and the big thing was they really frustrated Taylor Heineke in the second half, I think, and that was a big reason why they were able to pull this game out.
And that Heineke interception, I'm like, yeah, that's just typical Washington right there.
Yeah,
Right.
never should have thrown that.
Right there, like on the line, used another player's. Oh my God, that interception was just nuts. Seeing that, I was like, oh my God. But no, I mean, for me, it was same story. The defense, and this Kansas City defense will get a little bit better as the season continues. Obviously, they're still missing Chris Jones. They're missing one of their starting cornerbacks.
Yep.
So it's going to tighten up a little bit as the season goes on. But this defense just isn't enough for me to think that Kansas City is going to really make a run for the Super Bowl, to be honest. They're going to get it, especially because the Chargers lost to the Ravens. Congratulations, Dan.
Big time. Lost big time.
So with that, I mean,
Look at Dante.
Kansas City's only one game. Yeah, suck it, Dante. Kansas City's only one game out from, they're just one game out of it at this point. And, obviously Denver it wasn't for real. They haven't looked good in the past couple of weeks. Vegas definitely rebounded and played very well after this whole John Gruden stuff. So they might still be an issue. But we now see LA's not necessarily, an unstoppable team. Right. Again, it's not like Baltimore has the most, like they have Lamar Jackson, but I guess that's the X factor there. But like they're like Baltimore isn't necessarily like this dominant force in terms of like, because of all the injuries and stuff. So it's like if their backups are doing that great against Los Angeles, if Kansas City can just pull it together, they can compete with the Chargers. I don't know. It's the game definitely changed when Washington missed that field goal. Like you felt the air leave the stadium.
Yep.
And then from then on, it was all Kansas City, and Kansas City converted every third down from then on out. Washington couldn't stop them. Now Patrick Mahomes, of course, in the first half, it was rough. It was really rough. And he had that horrible interception that I was pissed at, because I'm like, just take the sack. You're in field goal range. What are you doing? I understand you've made your bread and butter on these crazy
types of plays. Yep.
But teams are starting to figure that out now. And now we have to start playing more fundamental football and stop these turnovers, because he has just had way too many turnovers this season. And, and Washington, the reason why Washington was really successful in the first half was because they did shut down Tyreek and Travis Kelce. And that is the weakness of this Kansas City. It's their strength and their weakness. If you can get them going like they did in the second half, they're going to dominate you because they're so good. Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. If you can stop them, you have like Kansas City's offense just doesn't function. No other player steps up the way a Sammy Watkins did. And I've been preaching that for the whole season, that Sammy Watkins was such an important player because, he was going to be open and he was good. So, and now he's on Baltimore. And of course, congratulations again, Dan.
He's hurt, so it's fine.
He's hurt right now, but he's still giving you guys the good juju. You guys are 5-1.
Yeah, very true.
But yeah, I mean, overall, it was an all right performance. I didn't leave the game feeling the best, but I'm just glad they pulled off the win, because if they would have lost to Washington, oh my God,
alarm bells
the sky would have been falling. The sky would have been falling.
No doubt.
And you would have been annoyed by me in the car.
Oh my God.
He mentioned that to me. He was like, I was like,
Kirby's
if this happens, gonna be unsufferable.
He's gonna be insufferable.
Insufferable, whatever.
Unsufferable. Is it whatever?
I think it is insufferable. I think it's
right. Insufferable.
But I knew for a fact that Washington could not keep this up, because Andy Reid, as you mentioned, Dan, he will come out and make those adjustments in Washington.
And they don't.
I just don't think they're capable of making adjustments. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know what goes on in that locker room, but I don't know. I really don't.
You know what Peyton Manning and Eli Manning said? Honestly, there's not a lot of time to make adjustments at halftime, and it's clear Washington can't make in-game adjustments. So while the game is actually being played, they're not the best at making those types of adjustments. I also think they just don't have their quarterback yet. I just don't think Taylor Heinicke is clearly not the answer.
Yeah.
Ryan Fitzpatrick can't stay healthy. We haven't really seen Kyle Allen this season, but I don't really trust in Kyle Allen either.
I got
right now. You guys like right now. There's just no answer at quarterback, and it really shows why having a great quarterback like Patrick Mahomes is the difference, because he can make those adjustments. Dak Prescott can make those adjustments. Tom Brady can make those adjustments. Aaron Rodgers can make those adjustments in game. It's
the big difference is between those quarterbacks and Washington. Obviously, just not just the talent. Obviously, Heinicke doesn't have a tenth of the talent those guys have. But it's also like they also have pretty solid running games, and that's like the foundation of what they do. Washington still has never found a running game, and you can see that they try early in the game to run the football, and it just wasn't working. And when they got out to that lead, I thought they did a pretty good job of mixing in pass and run. But in the second half, I mean, Kansas City wasn't having any of it. I mean, they were just stuffing the run, and then Washington got behind, and they had to throw it. And look, Kyle Allen. See, here I go saying Kyle Allen. Heineke's not a guy who's going to be able to throw it 45, 50 times a game and be successful. He's just not that kind of quarterback. He's more of a game manager type of quarterback when he's out there. So the situation wasn't right for him to be able to have that kind of, play style in the second half. And I think that hurts Washington. They really haven't had a running game in a while. I mean, you probably have to go back 2 or 3 years to see where they had a consistent running game. And it's hurt their offense.
Honestly, the last time I remember Washington really having a running game was when they had Alfred Morris back in the RG3 days. I really don't remember them having they had Adrian Peterson a little bit like a couple years ago, but come on, Adrian Peterson's, in his like 30s, like mid 30s,
mid to late 30s. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree with you there. I mean, yeah, that was when they had a really, really good, they had RG3, who was a wild card, obviously. And then you have Alfred Morris who could explode too. But yeah, I think you're right. They haven't really had any consistency since then, and they haven't really been able to draft the position well. They've tried. They haven't really been able to sign anyone who's panned out. Obviously, like you said, Adrian Peterson. But at that point, what were they expecting him to do? He was, 2 or 3 years away from retirement. He played well for them. He really did.
He did.
For the limited role he had and the limited opportunities he had there, but he was pretty solid for his age and all that. But yeah, it's just. That's the number one thing they're going to have to do is they're going to have to work on, obviously the offensive line needs a ton of work. We know that. That's really where it all begins. And then you'll be able to, have better pass and run options outside of that.
So you're talking about how Washington needs to find their quarterback. That's one story, but that doesn't say anything about what needs to be fixed on the defense, because
they definitely need help in the secondary because Landon
they need help everywhere. Nothing's working. Nothing is working for this Washington football team.
Agreed.
And I don't know what it is. I mean, I've watched and I've seen, and I'm not sure what it is with the Washington football team and what needs to change on this defense. And clearly so. This is the most overrated defense in the NFL, and I will not be surprised by the end of this season. They are not ranked 32nd overall in the league in defense.
I don't think they'll be that. I think, honestly,
they'll be down there, but
they're not going to be 32nd. You got Detroit and Tennessee. Even Tennessee's defense is 31 right now.
And Kansas City's defense isn't that much better. I mean, they improved in this game for sure.
I mean, the defense
they were
needs
down there
to
too.
improve. You know the saying, defense wins championships. And if your defense is like that, you're sitting at home on your couch every single year while a team with a better defense marches on to the Super Bowl and wins.
Well, and another thing is like maybe that Jack Del Rio thing from last year was just sort of a flash in the pan type of season where that his scheme just happened to work for that one season and it's not sustainable for a long. I don't know what the answer is. Nobody's going to have an answer.
That's the thing. I don't think anybody knows.
Yeah.
I can't even put my finger on what needs to happen, but
you have to look at every variable though. You can't just look at one area.
Well, here's the thing. Like you got to focus. Okay. So what is the building foundation of this team is that line, right? That defensive line. It's still great. They're just kind of underperforming right now because they're falling behind in games, right? Because their secondary isn't doing anything. So you got to fix the secondary. You got to figure out what you're doing at quarterback because Taylor Heineke clearly isn't the answer. Ryan Fitzpatrick is almost in his goddamn 40s, and Kyle Allen just isn't a starting caliber quarterback. Okay, then you got to figure out running back. You have to find a goddamn running back because we've been saying it since last season. The issue with Washington is they don't have a running game, and you need a good running game in order to win. And then obviously you got to fix the line. You have great options at receivers. Terry McLaurin is good. Logan Thomas is good. Whoever the hell that second wide receiver is, I can't remember his name right now. He's pretty good too. like you have pieces to build around, but you don't have the foundation. On offense, you don't have the key foundation piece, which is the quarterback, to build around there. And then you have the foundation for your defense, but you just don't have the right secondary.
And they need to take a look at scouting. They need to take it's a multi-tiered thing. And look, it's not something that's going to be a 2 or 3 year thing here we're talking about. This is a
long-term project.
This is a 5 to 6 year type of thing where you get your team back on the right track. But look, they cleaned house after obviously the stuff that happened. It's obvious that hasn't who they replaced their old staff with. I mean, it seems to be more the same type of issues that they were having before, especially on the defensive side of the ball. How many years have we talked about how bad their defense is? It's year after year after year. Now, last year, obviously, their pass rush was so insane that nothing else mattered with their defense. It didn't matter if their secondary was bad or their linebackers were bad. They were sacking quarterbacks. They were applying so much pressure that it didn't matter. That's not happening this year. And it was supposed to be the bread and butter with this defense, and it hasn't been. So it's a very complicated issue. And like I said, it starts with, who are your scouts? What are they scouting for? It's a whole big mess of shit right now that they have to sort through. And I think it's, that's part of the big challenge for this new, front office to sort of figure out. And obviously, it's not going to come easy. There's going to be some painful seasons.
Yep.
All right. So that was our experience with Kansas City
went off track,
heading to Washington, and the recap of Kansas City beating Washington. We will take a quick break, and when we come back, you hate to see it. Stay tuned. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just tell you about Regroup Building Services. If you're looking to get your home remodeled, any part of your home, bathroom, kitchen, want to get a deck built, anything like that, Regroup Building Services can just about do everything. And take it from me, because they came in and they remodeled my family's kitchen, and they do a great job. So if you're looking for any sort of home remodeling needs, deck work done, anything of that nature, reach out to my guy Sean Hibbard over at Regroup Building Services today. You can check them out on their website, www.regroupbuildingservices.com, where they do the honeydews that your honey don't. Make sure you tell them Josh sent you. For sports fans living in condominium and homeowners associations, as well as business professionals, when you need a reserve study, PM Plus Reserves has been in business since 1990. Their studies are accurate and easy to understand. Check them out when your association needs a study. www.pmplusreserves.com. You can also contact them at 703-803-8436. Once again, www.pmplusreserves.com. All right, welcome back. Joined in the three-man booth by Dan Dembski and the Swiss Army knife, Carlos Martinez. Carlos, you hate to see it.
You hate to see it. Texas isn't back, guys. Texas isn't back. Oh my God, that guy was a trip. That guy was a trip.
He was asking for them to lose.
He was asking for it, and you guys saw me. You guys saw me after New England scored that touchdown, and Dak got the ball back. I told you guys, I'm not worried. I'm not.
We've got time.
We're gonna come back. We have time.
Yep.
Oh man, let's get into
experience.
This is what I've been waiting for.
Carlos, take it away, bud. Take it away.
Take it away.
Excited. Well, I mean, obviously, we have to start with what we were doing. So after, obviously, we left FedEx, we went back to my dad's house so I could pick my car up and then head back.
That car is beautiful, by the way.
Yeah, different colored doors. It's fantastic.
It's very unique.
It's not mine. It's my mom's husband's. Mine was here in West Virginia. But anyway, so we went to we obviously went to go eat dinner afterwards. We went to Buffalo Wings. What is Buffalo Wings Factory? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Buffalo Wing Factory. Yep.
Yeah. Give them a try if you're ever in Reston. They're fantastic. There's your free plug. But yeah, we went there. And we were obviously at that point, the Cowboys and Patriots game was already, I think they were already in like the third, fourth quarter.
It was in the third, yeah.
Yeah, they were in the third. So we had already missed the first half. So we had already missed, the turnovers and stuff like that from the first half and all that. But there was this guy who was supporting the Patriots who was sitting at the bar. We were sitting at a table, and he was just being obnoxious as hell and just screaming and cheering every time the Patriots did something.
Anything. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
Any positive play at all.
And then, there was the whole, when what happened? Well, first New England scored and took the lead, and that's when he started saying the "you hate to see it" line.
Yep.
Just screaming it at a buddy, I think that was there, just going, "You hate to see it, you hate to see it." And I'm sitting there going, okay. Then the Trayvon Diggs pick six happens.
Yep.
Which, hallelujah,
that was impressive. That was impressive.
Diggs.
Trayvon Diggs is a very great player for Dallas, and they need to cherish him. And hope that Trayvon Diggs doesn't commit any DWIs or anything like that.
Kirby, we'll get into all that later.
Down.
Well, yeah, relax. So obviously makes the pick six. I start cheering. I'm like, yeah, let's go. And then obviously the next offensive play for New England is the
wide open.
Is the miscommunication in the secondary. They leave Bourne wide open. Bourne takes it 75 yards to the house. One play, and they take the lead, and this dude goes ballistic.
He just
back
blew
there. He's just going. He continued going. You hate to see it. You hate. Texas isn't back. Nothing's back. Nothing's great and big about Texas. He's just going off.
On and on and on.
And at that point, he's behind me. So we're sitting kind of in a booth table section kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a hybrid.
I can't see him, but Dan and Kirby are sitting in front of me, and they can see him. And so they just see me. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, all right,
okay.
I'm not worried. I'm not worried because
he'll get his.
There was still more than 2 minutes left in the game. And given how well Dallas was moving the ball at that point, I had a feeling. Now, of course, we did just miss the field goal not too long ago. So, of course, Dak drives him into field goal range, makes the field goal. I don't say anything yet because, of course, it's going into overtime. Goes into overtime.
Yeah.
Patriots get the ball first. They don't do anything with it. Bill Belichick is a coward and doesn't go for it on fourth down and gives the ball back to Dallas. Yeah. Dallas goes on and scores. CeeDee Lamb scores the walk-off touchdown. And as soon as CeeDee Lamb walked into the end zone, I just let out, "Oh, you hate to see it. You just hate to see it. You hate to see the evil empire fall. It's over. Tom Brady was the reason why you guys were successful. Fuck you, New England. Goddamn 6 freaking times we've been losing to you guys." It was awesome. I'm so happy with this Dallas team, and we'll get about my thoughts on Dallas and how I feel we're going right now. But man, what a time!
The best part of that was we were leaving as you said all this. So we were getting up. We'd already paid and everything because we just want to see the end of the game. And Carlos yells all that. He did not say "fuck you," but he could have said that. He there were children around, so he kept it PG. But he did say the evil empire. I was like, that's a great line. That really is a great line. The evil empire of the New England Patriots is fallen.
That whole interaction, I sort of wanted Dallas to win just so Carlos.
Yeah, me too. That's the thing. It felt like everybody in the restaurant at that point was like, I want Dallas to win now because
that guy was such a jackass. He was such a jackass and so
then,
annoying.
Of course, I didn't actually see his reaction, of course, because he was behind me. But Dan and Kirby say he just
he took his hat off, put his head down, and was just in pain. I love it because
I love it
when people are like that are that much of jackasses when it comes to sports and their team loses. I mean. You should give them everything they were giving everybody else in the ball. I mean, that guy, there was no one else who was even talking loudly at all.
The good old fan down there with the Lamar jersey who was just trying to enjoy watching football.
Yeah, he goes and shakes the guy's hand, and the guy's like, "What?" The guy was super confused about what was happening. Just an annoying guy who got what was coming to. And I like how Carlos waited till the game was over. He was classy about the entire thing. And I respected Carlos's response because we had to say it. I mean, you hate to see it, but we had to say it. Okay,
we had to. We
all
like,
did too. We all said you hate to see it.
I was so excited too. I was like, "Come on, Dallas, please win this game. Please win this game. I have to say this. I have to."
You have
and
to
they pulled through for me. They did what needed to be done. Like I said, the evil empire has fallen. The Cowboys have ended this long streak of losing to the Patriots. And of course, that was because they had Tom Brady. And I don't think the Cowboys have ever beaten Tom Brady, to be honest.
They never did.
I don't think, and I think we had our best shot week 1, but we didn't do it. But yeah, like the fact that we basically outcoached Bill Belichick, we outplayed Bill Belichick. I mean, we put up the most yards against a Bill Belichick team is fantastic.
It's huge.
Like I said, the evil empire has finally fallen. The Cowboys are legit. We are here.
Totally agree.
And I mean, that's why the Cowboys are my main team, because they just make me feel, they either make me feel dread or absolute euphoria and joy, which is what I still feel now because of them.
I totally relate to that. I feel the same way about my team. It's the same way.
Yeah. I feel more dread most of the time, but you know.
I knew it.
It's true.
Anyway, good stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, Dallas is a very good football team. I'm not gonna take anything away from them. Other than their defensive player getting a DWI, that's just irresponsible for this team going on a Super Bowl run. But yeah, other than that, I think their defense.
I mean, he's not. It's not like KZ was like an important piece where if he gets suspended or anything, our defense is going to fall apart. Randy Gregory is playing fantastic right now. Micah Parsons is playing fantastic right now.
Yeah.
Obviously, Trayvon Diggs is playing fantastic right now. Anthony Brown, who I slaughtered week 1 because of how bad he was covering Antonio Brown and getting burned, has been quietly consistent.
Been great ever since. Yep.
And you know, we're gonna get not Randy Gregory. I'm sorry, DeMarcus Lawrence is eventually gonna come back, and you know, if Randy Gregory's still playing the way he's playing, you know, when D-Law comes back, I mean, oh my God, this Dallas defense is going to be a force to mess with. And of course, thank God the bye week is this week for us, because of course Dak strained his calf on that last throw, and hopefully. It doesn't seem like it's a bad strain, but that's what's been keeping Michael Gallup out for the past, you know, ever since the Tampa Bay game is a calf strain. So hopefully he gets the proper treatment for these next 2 weeks leading into Minnesota in 2 weeks. But I mean, I'm so excited for this Dallas team. Like we're legit. Like we are legit. And the last time the Cowboys were 5-1 was 1995. The last time we won a Super Bowl, the year I was born. The year I was born, boys.
It all comes
I haven't
full
felt this good about a Cowboys team ever. Well, maybe 2007, but even
that was a great team.
And they broke my heart, and I cried when they lost to the Giants. I really cried.
Heavy favorites, yeah.
But you know, even in Dak's rookie year when we went 14-2, I didn't necessarily have the same faith that I do now. I feel so confident in this team. I mean, you guys saw it. I wasn't nervous when we went down. I knew we were going to come back. I just knew it. And I don't know what it is about this team, why I feel like it. I think it's just because Dak has been playing at such an incredible level, and this defense is actually performing well because of Dan Quinn getting them organized. But, I mean, good Lord. We look good. We look so good. And we're getting Lyle Collins back, of course. He's finally off his suspension. Don't ever bribe a drug official. Not a good move.
Life advice.
Yeah. It's I'm so excited for this team. I just truly am. I can't contain it.
I'm happy.
I'm not saying Super Bowl yet. I'm not saying Super Bowl.
No, way too early to say.
We are a dark horse for the Super Bowl, I feel like, right? But I don't think this team is going to make the Super Bowl. I think we'll make the NFC Championship game for sure.
Well, I'll just say, you know, last year, really before Dak got hurt, I mean, he was playing out of his mind last year. He was playing really well last year. and he's really done more of the same this year. It's really great to see him sort of bounce back after his very serious injury and to play as well as he has. But one thing Dallas has done a really good job of, obviously, that we talked about the defense. Carlos talked for a while about that. I mean, their defense is a complete, I would say, 180 turn from what they were a season ago, where they were, I mean, they couldn't stop anything, and now they're pretty solid. I mean, in this game they had some miscommunications, and obviously Carlos talked about the touchdown that Mac Jones threw there late in the game to Bourne. But the difference is, well, first of all, they're much more healthy than they were last year. They weren't missing key players. Dak's healthy, but they've been able to run the ball effectively, and I think that punch with Elliott and Pollard has been huge for them this year. I mean, obviously Elliott's more of a power back, and Pollard's more of a shifty kind of faster running back that can kind of get in and out of gaps and make quick cuts, and they just complement each other really well. And I think that's one thing watching this team. We all know how good CeeDee Lamb has been. I mean, he's
been awesome. He's
awesome.
A beast. That was such a great moment. He scores a touchdown. I didn't like him high stepping into the end zone, just get into the end zone, but I loved how he got pushed, gets back up, just starts waving. It was so awesome. It was so awesome. I love it. I love everything that's happening in Dallas right now.
I tell you, I'd love to have him on my team. Just his run after the catch is ridiculous. He can just do anything after he catches the football. Their offense is just unstoppable right now, and you combine that with the defense that's gotten a hell of a lot better in one season, especially the secondary. Trayvon Diggs, we alluded to it. I think he's got 7 or 8 picks this year so far.
He's got as many touchdowns as his brother does, too.
It's insane. It's not supposed to happen, in case you're wondering. No. A defensive back is not supposed to have as many or more touchdowns than a receiver, just in case.
Yeah, that is a very crazy fact right there.
But everything has come together for this team so far. I'm looking forward to seeing them, down the stretch here a little bit. Obviously they had that loss. Their only loss is really against Tampa Bay, and they've beaten everybody else, and they beat the Chargers. I think has been the toughest team they've beaten so far. But of course they have Kansas City. They have the Saints left on their schedule. The Saints are hit or miss, but they also have Arizona in week 17. I think that's going to be very
I feel like
game.
But for that Arizona game, it's going to be interesting to see where Dallas is at that point of the season, because by that point we might have the division locked up, and we might not even need to be playing those last 2 games.
That's true.
That's the thing.
True.
That's the thing, that everybody is looking towards that Arizona game, but I'm still not 100% fully convinced Arizona is as good as they are right now, right? They are 6-0, right? I can't take that away from them. They have beaten some tough teams. But it's just that little thing in the back of my head, like, is this team legit yet? Like, are they really real? They have the weapons, they have everything, but it's all built around Kyler Murray. And if Kyler gets hurt, and he's not the biggest guy,
right?
Who's to say? Right now, him and Dak are tied right now for MVP odds. Kyler and Dak are. Dak is by far the favorite to win Comeback Player of the Year. But I think the true there's only a few games that I see as a challenge. Obviously, I'm not 100% sure if we're going to win every division game. Obviously, our last week of the season is going to be against Philly, where I feel like we're going to not play our starters, because at that point we'll probably have this division locked up.
Hopefully.
We still have the 2 games against Washington, which I'm not necessarily scared of Washington, but, crazier things have happened. And, obviously that Kansas City game, where Kansas City can, match up with us in terms of offensively, but their defense isn't going to stop our running game at all. We're not Washington. If we get a lead on you, we're going to keep going. And of course, we can hit you from all angles. We can hit you from the air, from the ground. We can beat you with Noah Brown. Who the hell knows who Noah Brown is?
Never heard of him.
It's like we've been missing Michael Gallup for the past, since Tampa Bay, and look at us now. We got Williams, and we got Noah Brown making plays, and CeeDee Lamb, and Amari Cooper is still a threat, even though he's not really been a factor too much, but he's still a threat.
The depth at wide receiver for Dallas is ridiculous.
Insane.
They're freaking loaded top to bottom. and they have 5 or 6 guys. They can. I mean, they can catch passes. I mean, they can do exactly what they're supposed to get paid to do. You know.
Yeah, and then of course Dalton Schultz has been actually pretty good this year. He's been solid. I mean, it'll be interesting going into the Kansas City game. Of course, Vegas is still a threat.
For sure.
Know, I thought they were going to fall off because of the whole Gruden thing, but they look pretty good this week. And so I still think the lowest this team is going to be is 13-4. So I feel like we're going to drop. There's 3 possible losses on this schedule that are left. New Orleans could catch us by surprise and beat us. You know, it's like 13-4 is the floor for us. I feel like, but I feel like we may do better. We could go 14-3, maybe even 15-2, and we could even. I don't even know if I really want the 1 seed because I don't really like the bye week. I feel like if this team is hot, we have to keep playing.
That is a good one.
You know, point. If we get the 1 seed, I mean, that means everything has to go through Dallas. And I mean, I
like
don't know.
That though. You have to like that.
Yeah, but I mean, I just want anything to make sure we don't have to go to Tampa Bay or Lambeau. I'm okay with that because like those are like, I definitely don't want to go to Lambeau because of, you know, the trauma I've had with going to Lambeau. Of course, that was a catch in 2014. Screw the refs. And then of course Tampa Bay, you know, we just don't want to give. I mean, it's warm in January at least, but we don't want to give, you know, Brady home field advantage. We want him to come to our house.
Yeah,
I think you just covered it beautifully. So.
Yeah, I think you did too. I feel like Dallas is looking really good, and I like what you said there. You're not saying this is a Super Bowl team, but they're looking pretty darn good for.
I mean, they can compete to play in the Super Bowl, but I don't think this is I think next year will probably be the year where I'm going to start singing Super Bowl or bust. Yeah. But this year, I just want us to make it to the NFC Championship game. That's my bar for them. That's it. Anything else after that, they're playing with house money.
I think that's realistic expectations as of right now. Because like it still is a long season, so there's a lot to take into consideration. But still, at this very point, I totally agree with you, Carlos.
Yeah, I mean, it's just great when Dallas is playing well. It just makes my life so much better.
Enjoyed because there are a lot of fans like Josh Kirby who have to go through terrible things.
Well, there's me who had to rescind my fanhood last year because I just couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah.
The only thing that scares me about this team, though, real quick before we move on, is like Mike McCarthy is going to lose us a game here. Mm-hmm. Like, I know it's going to be because of him that we lose a game. He still makes me nervous as a coach, but
as long as it's not a playoff game, I think you'll take a regular season loss or 2 rather than a playoff loss.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on. The last and final game we will be touching on deep in depth. The Tennessee Titans on Monday Night Football defeat the Buffalo Bills 34-31. I'll tell you, I was very surprised to see the outcome of this game. I watched highlights. I did not watch the entire game. But for Tennessee to stop Buffalo on a goal line stand in their red zone was huge. Tennessee has not been playing well. And I'll tell you, I think Derrick Henry carried this Tennessee Titans football team.
You think?
He always carries his team.
Yeah,
he was their whole offense. In this game.
143 yards, 3 touchdowns. You have Tannehill. I'm not sure what's up with Tannehill. He's an
average quarterback.
Yeah.
He's an average quarterback.
He's an average quarterback. He's not necessarily an elite. I mean, he's a serviceable quarterback.
He's serviceable. Exactly.
I think he's been overhyped in.
I don't necessarily think because I don't think anybody's been clamoring that he's.
I was about to
Dak
say
Prescott or something like that, Lamar Jackson or something or anything like that. We all know Tannehill's ceiling. And what it is he's an above average quarterback.
Right.
Like he's a serviceable quarterback, but like.
When you have
a man beast like Derrick Henry in the
Feed
backfield
him constantly, all the time, never.
Who's gonna stop him?
Oh yeah.
No team has been able to. I mean, every team they play, they get added to the stiff arm highlight reel, man. It's just crazy.
And I think it helped having Julio Jones and AJ Brown back.
Yes.
That was a dope catch, though. Off his helmet, and he catches the football. I mean,
Yeah.
Tennessee, like you all said, yeah, Tannehill's serviceable, but I don't think he had the best game tonight. He threw an interception. He was 18 for 29, 216 yards. But Derrick Henry,
he didn't play well at all.
Derrick Henry is a freight train, and you aren't gonna stop him.
Dan knows all about it.
Oh my gosh, Derrick Henry, man! Seeing him run.
Can somebody check out Earl Thomas? Is he okay? Like, has anybody seen him since? Has anybody seen him since?
He got cut. He got cut after that, and I think that has been the video of his. That's his highlight.
I think that's the last play of his career. I think
so.
Rest in peace.
He's not playing
Earl
for anybody.
Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was brutal to watch that. But
Josh Allen, 3 touchdowns and an interception with 353 yards. But the Bills, they don't really have a running game. Devin Singletary only had 5 carries for 27 yards rushing.
That's a problem.
That's a big
running game problem.
They need to figure that running game out because like same thing with like we said about Washington. The best teams have a good running game, and it's also an issue with Kansas City too. They don't have a running game either.
Right.
But they got to figure that running game out. Josh Allen, of course, is a pretty mobile quarterback. He's a mobile quarterback, but you can't rely on your quarterback being your top rusher every game.
Yeah, this game to me was strange in that if you just looked at the numbers, I mean, you would think that the Buffalo dominated. If you don't look over at Derrick Henry stats for a second, if you just compare the quarterbacks, I mean,
yeah,
Buffalo dominates this game, but the difference is Tennessee had no passing game, Buffalo did, and Buffalo had no running game, but Tennessee was carried by Derrick Henry like they usually are. I mean, when Derrick Henry doesn't carry them, they usually do not win. I mean, that's just kind of how it goes for them. That's their formula to win, is feed him the damn ball and give him an opportunity to stiff arm somebody in open space, because he's that much of a beast, and people still don't know how to tackle him. They haven't figured it out yet. But I kind of had a feeling this was going to be a game that was really going to be an offensive showdown for sure. But the fact that I'll also say I like the Bills going for it in the situation they went for it there to try to go ahead and grab the and get the win essentially.
Mm-hmm.
I like that decision. The analytics
I was all for it also. I was all for it also.
You needed 6 inches. You got Josh Allen. He's a beast. He's 6'5". I don't know how much he weighs, but he can just stretch across and get that first down, or that touchdown rather. So I like that play call there. Buffalo's going to be fine. They're going to have a couple close games like this season. I'm not worried about them. But it's interesting to see Tennessee now, who a lot of people have written off, and I know I wrote them off a few weeks ago. Way too early to do that, by the way. Don't do that. If you're a betting person, which I am not, thank God. They're kind of back in this thing now. Now they're 4-2. I don't know the standings off the top of my head in the AFC South, but I assume that they're in first place. If I'm gonna look here real quick, just so I don't look like
Titans 4-2, Colts 2-4 in second place, and then we know the rest.
Yeah, the Colts. I mean, the Colts have been inconsistent. That concerns me. Obviously, we know Houston and Jacksonville are in trouble. So Tennessee's they're the best team in that division, but they hadn't been playing like it the last few weeks, and I think this was an important game for them to come out and show. Yes, we are the AFC South leading. We are leading the AFC South. I can't talk. I think I need more coffee or something to start the day. I don't know what it is, but oh man, that really got Kirby going. He is leaned back. They impressed me in this game, and I know, like I said, you're not going to be able to. Derrick Henry's not going to be able to do this every game. Let's be honest. He's going to get worn out if they try to do this every single game. they have AJ Brown and, like Carlos said, Julio Jones. I mean, they are pretty solid. So they need to mix it up a little better, I think, if they're going to have long-term success. But I mean, Derrick Henry just took this game over, and just like he has when the Titans have won meaningful games in the past, he did it again in this game. And it always seems to be also in a primetime position when he does this as well, or a playoff game. Rip Earl Thomas. But I don't really have anything to add to that. I think Tennessee proved to me that they can't be taken lightly. Buffalo's defense also has a decent amount of issues as well. It seems like there's really no great defenses in the AFC. All of them are just kind of, I guess
Baltimore's defense played pretty well this week, but
they did, but they hadn't until this week. That's the thing. Like they've been giving up 25, 30, 40 points. Now look at who they're playing. Obviously, when you play Kansas City, that's just kind of how it goes. But
but they played the Chargers this week and they held them.
Yeah, I know.
Points. So
I know.
They finally stepped up.
Exactly. No, that's exactly right. But yeah, I think this just again proves my theory that the AFC is kind of wide open right now. And those teams that are 4-2 or better, obviously in my mind have the best chance, but especially a team like, Tennessee, who people have sort of written off. And that's kind of the way they like it. They like it's nice when you can sit on top of the division and people don't talk about you. You know what I mean? Like you don't have that spotlight on you because you don't feel like you have to live up to someone's supreme expectations. Mm-hmm. So I think Tennessee's sort of living that way right now, and they'll take that every day of the week.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'll say is, I don't necessarily fully trust Tennessee's defense. Their defense is still pretty bad. Like I said, I agree with you, Dan, about the going forward on that fourth down, that 4th and 1, or that 4th and inches, really.
Mm-hmm,
Because, and it was just it was kind of a freak incident. Josh Allen slipped, which happens. I don't necessarily like the move he made though, because he took a step back and then went forward, which, just dive for it.
Use your height advantage, right? In your stretch, yeah.
But yeah, I'm not worried about the Bills. I'm not worried about them at all. I don't think this loss necessarily hurts them. I mean, again, Tennessee, we were even kind of picking Tennessee to even make it to the Super Bowl because of how good they look.
I believe I picked them, yeah.
But they've just taken a little bit to get going and finally realize, hey, Derrick Henry is still going to be the engine of this offense,
right?
And of course, it's kind of hard to trust Tennessee because when you lose to the Jets, that's a red flag right there.
Yeah,
they lose to the worst team in the AFC, but then they beat the best team in the AFC with the Bills. They're so inconsistent, is what I'm trying to say here. Their defense is still not the best. Tannehill again is an above average quarterback, but he's not elite, of course. So I'm not worried about, and again, Buffalo, I mean, they have options everywhere still. Their running game is suspect, but they have, Emmanuel Sanders is actually still playing pretty well. I mean, and then, obviously you got Diggs, you got Cole Beasley, former Cowboy, of course. But I'm not worried about Buffalo. I think Buffalo's ultimately going to be fine. They're going to lose games here and there. Every team is. Nobody goes undefeated, I guess, unless you're the Patriots until the Super Bowl.
Rip.
And then Tennessee, I mean, we'll see where they go from here. We'll see if this is a launching point for them to be the team that we thought they were going to be, or was this just a blip and they're going to still be that inconsistent team down the way and they're just going to make the playoffs because the AFC South ultimately ended up not being the division we thought it was going to be.
Yeah, and I feel like this win could be a springboard for them. I think obviously time will tell, but also, credit to Mike Vrabel and what he's been able to do there so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the time he's been there in Tennessee, it's just been exceptional to watch what he's been able to do with.
Yeah, but you don't want to give him too much credit because ultimately Mike Vrabel is a defensive guy, and ever since their defensive coordinator left that the year that they beat you guys in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And now he's the defensive coordinator in Atlanta. Their defense hasn't been good, and they spent money on their defense this offseason. So you can give him credit. Yeah, he's got Tennessee in a good place, but they got to figure that defense out because that defense is 31st in the league right now. I think it's unbelievable how bad they are, and they played good here to an extent, but I still don't trust this defense on Tennessee.
Also, that was Dean Pease, and he was also the Ravens defensive coordinator too before that.
There you go.
he had a pretty good career, and then he came out of retirement to for some reason go and coach Atlanta, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
All right,
Kirby, go ahead.
So that is the Titans and the Bills, 34-31. We will take a deep dive into the 2-minute drill hurry up offense coming up next. Is it finally time to upgrade your home's interior? How about with an authentic farm table made locally from recycled barnwood? Shenandoah Primitives, based right here in Winchester, Virginia, makes farm tables, benches, tables, coffee tables, and a long list of other items for your home decorating needs. At Shenandoah Primitives, function and style are combined for great furniture that will last generations. If you're interested in combining the industrial look of metal with wood, or considering something incredibly unique with a live edge, Shenandoah Primitives turns those ideas into reality. Thinking about a mirror, wine rack, or other accent piece for your home, Shenandoah Primitives can assist with that as well. As a local small business, Shenandoah Primitives is happy to work with each client for a custom design or schedule an appointment to come out and view current inventory. Local, high-quality, handmade items can be found at Shenandoah Primitives. Find us on Facebook and Instagram or visit us at www.shenandoahprimitives.com. Once again, that's www.shenandoahprimitives.com.
Hey, sports fans. Thank you for listening to and supporting the Kirby on Sports podcast with founder and host Josh Kirby, along with lead contributor Dan Dembski. Like, subscribe, and give them a 5-star rating wherever you get your podcast from. My name is Dr. Dave Miles, founder of Dr. Dave Leadership Corporation. Our company helps leaders build engaged and productive teams. Exclusively for listeners of the Kirby on Sports podcast, you can take an opportunity to discover your primary communication style and learn more about effective communication with others. Text Kirby to 757-903-0743 for your free copy of the Working From Home Communication Assessment, where you'll learn your primary communication style, how to better communicate with others not like you, and tips on working remotely based on your personal communication style. 10 minutes, tons of resources. Learn about yourself and your team. Again, text Kirby to 757-903-0743 for your free assessment report today. I'm Dr. Dave Miles, founder of Dr. Dave Leadership Corporation, where we help you and your team be more engaged and productive by understanding each other better. Back to you, Josh.
All right. Welcome back. I have to redact what I said earlier. It's not called the 2-minute drill. Carlos was laughing at me at the commercial break there. It is the hurry up offense where we talk about the rest of the games we did not cover.
I don't
Carlos,
have a play call already. I don't have a play call.
You don't have a play call.
Yeah.
Ready?
Ready? Break.
This is ready that long, whatever. Kirby? Come on.
Whatever. Let's get into it. The first game, Thursday Night Football, the Buccaneers and the Eagles, where the Eagles covered the spread, but the Bucs still beat them. I mean, the Eagles keeping it that close and covering the spread, I was very surprised in that game. Brady, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Jalen Hurts only 115 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception.
Yeah, short week. I mean, a lot of those Thursday night games are sloppy. This was one of those that I think people were surprised by the score, but the Bucs pretty much had this game from the start. I mean, there's really no question.
The Bucs just let off the gas, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I mean, they had the lead and they were just like,
they're just like, all right, let's get out of here.
Yeah,
it's Thursday. Why exert ourselves? How about let's just cancel Thursday night football? It's so pointless. Like, why are you making these teams suffer? Look at what the Browns are about to go through. They're missing so many players on a short.
They have no one. Yeah,
they have no one. So you know what? Just cancel Thursday night football. Who cares? Who actually watch? Unless my team's playing, I don't really care about Thursday night football.
The matchups aren't great either most of the time. I mean, they're mismatches or they're teams no one gives a shit about. So yeah, I kind of agree with that, Carlos. I think maybe if not canceling it, then finding out some way to fix it. So
the next game, the Jaguars get their first win of the season over the Miami Dolphins in London.
Well, I'm not going to say it, but they grinded to get that victory.
God damn it! God damn it!
You had to know it was coming, my man. Trevor Lawrence played well. This game, I don't know. It's another one of those brutal type of games. Those London games a lot of times are same sort of thing as Thursday night. They're kind of like two teams that nobody really cares about. And yeah, I don't have much to say. I will say the Dolphins can't run the ball at all. I mean, their leading rusher had 24 yards. That's pathetic. That's simply pathetic. Happy for the Jags. Kind of sad that they got to win because now they're not going to go 0-17. I thought that'd be pretty cool, but looks like the Lions, who I'm sure we'll talk about next, can fill that crown this season. So,
yeah, Trevor Lawrence is 2-0 against Tua Tagovailoa. I mean, I just don't think he's the answer in Miami. I really don't. I don't think he's got it. I just don't. And we'll see where Miami goes from here. And of course, congratulations to Urban Meyer and the Jags. Hopefully Urban didn't get too wild after that.
Yeah, nice a nice soda this time. How about instead of another type of beverage?
All right. Dan's Ravens over the Chargers 34-6. Suck it, Dante.
Yeah, the defense.
Kirby, you don't get to throw Dante under the bus, okay? He's my friend. I get to throw him under the bus. Suck it, Dante.
There you go. We had to fill that in. Yeah, the defense stepped up in a huge way in this game. They really played a lot better than I expected as far as slowing down Justin Herbert. And I don't know. It was one of those types of games where it's almost like I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Lamar didn't play his best game, only had 167 and a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. One of them was off a receiver's hand, so that really wasn't his fault. I hate those types of interceptions where obviously they count as picks, but like, come on, it literally hit the guy in the hands.
Well, it's like the Mahomes pick in the Washington game because it went off Tyreek's hands.
Yes, exactly. And the fact that the Ravens are able to like trot out whatever running back was good 4 years ago and have them have success, I think is huge. and this game, it happened to be Devontae Freeman. He was fantastic. And
former Falcon right there.
Former Falcon. That's right. Yeah, I'm just very pleased with the way they played. And it goes to show like Lamar doesn't have to play a perfect game for them to win. Their defense can still kind of get the job done. I don't know if this is sustainable long-term as far as their defense stepping back up and becoming the old-fashioned Ravens defense that we've seen season after season. I'm not saying that that's what we will see, but I certainly hope it is. And the Chargers will be fine. I mean, this is just a slip-up game for them. They're still very much in the thick of things. But they have a lot of concerns on defense, a ton. And obviously that's been addressed before, but they'll be fine. Like I said, there really are no dominant defenses in the AFC. So when you see an AFC defense dominate, it's kind of surprising. And especially with, a team like the Ravens defense this year has not been the same, and with all the injuries as well.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say is with the win and with everybody else pretty much losing that was important in the AFC, aside from the Titans, Baltimore's in the number 1 spot right now.
Yeah.
So
pressure's on.
Going, I guess, if you guys want home field.
Yeah, I know that's the biggest thing is, we have to keep reminding ourselves this is a long season. Like we have to keep keep it up. Obviously, we're going to drop some games here and there. I'm not expecting us to win out. That's highly unlikely for anybody to do that. But I just want to see consistency. Like, I want to see our defense continue to play consistently. They're not going to get stops every time, but that's the biggest thing for me. And our offense can score points. They've showed they have no problem doing that, whether it's in the second quarter or, scoring 3 touchdowns in the fourth. We can do it if we have to.
Yep.
All right. The Minnesota Vikings defeating the Carolina Panthers in overtime. The Panthers are struggling. They got off to a really good start, but now they're just not looking that good. Sam Darnold, I don't think, is playing that well.
No, it just feels like Sam Darnold right now is like, I think he still has trauma from the Jets,
Still seeing ghosts out there.
He's ready to press the panic button, but like he just hasn't pressed it yet. I mean, like I said, let's be honest. It was the same case with Denver. Who did Carolina actually beat before they came up against Dallas? And they played good in the first couple quarters against Dallas, and then Dallas eventually just third quarter blew up and just lit them up. But I mean, since then they just haven't looked good. And I got to give props to the Vikings. I still don't necessarily think they are that good of a team, and I hope the Cowboys expose them in 2 weeks. But they're kind of sneaky. They're sneaking up on a lot of teams right now, and that offense is pretty good. Obviously you got Kirk Cousins, who is more of a crunch time quarterback in my opinion, but I've already made my thoughts clear about him. And of course, you got a talented offense. I mean, they're going to move the ball, but I don't know. It's I don't know. Minnesota, congratulations. I don't really care.
That was going to be my headline. Who gives a crap about this game? But honestly, Carlos pretty much said it all. I think, the Panthers didn't really beat anyone this season in their first 3 games, and I think there was a false sense of who they were as a football team. This is who they are. They're an average football team. They're probably a sub 500 team this year, and the Vikings are just so damn inconsistent. It's just how I define them. You just don't know what you're going to see week to week from them. And Kirk Cousins is the same way. He can come out and throw 2 picks and no touchdowns, and the next game 3 touchdowns and almost 400 yards. It's just I've got nothing of substance to say here, but other than those 2 things.
The Green Bay Packers over the Chicago Bears. Justin Fields in this game gets sacked 4 times.
And Aaron Rodgers is now a minority shareholder in Chicago. He owns them.
I was going to say that.
Did you guys know that? His whole effing life, he's owned them.
He owns them.
And he still owns them. It's insane. It is insane. How do we not know?
I should have read the paperwork. I don't know how I missed it. The nice thing for the Bears, Khalil Herbert, Virginia Tech Hokie, had a really good game running the football, but this is just what the Packers do to the Bears. It's twice a season they do this. They beat them usually pretty handily. So I don't have anything to really add to that. The Packers are as good as we think they are, and the Bears are a mess. And how many losses will it take for Matt Nagy to get fired? Who knows?
He's not going to make it much longer. But
I'm sure Bears fans hope.
Good luck, Kirby, this coming week.
Yeah.
The Bengals over the Lions 34-11. I don't really have much to add.
Who cares? Congratulations. The Bengals beat the worst team in the NFL.
The
Bengals are sneaky. Oh. Bengals are sneaky, though.
Mm-hmm. But
that's all
ultimately, it's not going to work out for them.
No.
The Colts over the Texans 31-3.
Who cares?
Just skip. Just skip this.
Who cares?
The Rams over the Giants 38-11.
Again, who cares? The Giants aren't good.
Sorry, Lauren, but your team is terrible.
Your team is awful. And congratulations to the Rams because they're still winning.
11 points in a game. Pathetic. All right, sorry. Go ahead.
The Cardinals over the Browns 37-14.
Cardinals. I know Carlos says he doesn't know if they're legit, but
We had a very heated discussion earlier about the Browns.
No. Excuse me. I was just presenting the argument from the other side, okay? And then I didn't respond anymore to Dan because I was just letting Dan dig his own grave there.
well.
We're not gonna get into it on here.
No, that's stupid and dumb. We keep our conversation. I just thought
it was a very heated discussion.
It wasn't heated. It wasn't.
Kirby just trying to stir the pot.
No, I just saw long paragraphs and I was like, oh, okay.
I mean, he made good points in those paragraphs. He was talking about all the injuries, and they have a ton of injuries. I'm not denying that. I was just making a generalization, but it's Kyler Murray has got to be in the MVP conversation right now.
He's the favorite, tied with Dak.
Gotta be. And
Russell
it's still early.
Wilson's middle finger took him out of that conversation.
He wasn't playing that well before that.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Okay. Either. Yeah, Russell's lost his touch and his finger, and his dexterity. Sanity. Yeah.
We'll get into that.
Let's talk about that when we get to that.
Let's keep going.
All right.
I've already made my thoughts known about Arizona. I don't know if they're legit yet. I think they don't necessarily have. I don't know their offense. Not their offense. Their offense worries me if Kyler Murray gets hurt, but their defense worries me because it's a very chaotic defense. It's not a structured defense. Like a lot of their plays are based off of chaos.
I agree with that.
The Raiders over the Broncos 34-24. I thought this might be a game more in the Broncos' favor based off everything that has happened. We all know what happened, but the Raiders with a 10-point victory over the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big win for them after all the stuff that's transpired. That's really all I have. The Broncos are same situation as the Panthers, where they started the season undefeated, and then we kind of see who they are because they didn't beat anybody in those first 3 weeks. Literally identical to the Panthers. So I don't have much to say about them. But good for the Raiders. And again, people who wrote off the Raiders after all that happened with Gruden, I mean, not so fast, my friend, to quote, Lee Corso.
Yeah, the Raiders aren't done yet. I mean, it sucks I feel bad for Teddy Bridgewater because it was finally starting to work out for him, and then he gets the concussion, and then just since then, this team just hasn't looked great since. So we'll see how it works out for Denver, but doesn't knows. And then for Vegas, I thought that this whole thing with Gruden was kind of derail them, but clearly I was wrong. So,
well, we'll see in a couple weeks. I mean, let's see what their record is after this. I mean, I
just hope they don't ruin another Thanksgiving for my team.
Absolutely.
Okay, so this next one, the Pittsburgh Steelers over the Seattle Seahawks in overtime. I'm like, the Seattle Seahawks with Geno Smith. Geno Smith hasn't started the game in 4 years, and he comes out 23 for 32, 209 yards and a touchdown. I mean, that's crazy. I did not think this game would be so close. But yet again, that gets to say Pittsburgh's struggling very badly.
Pittsburgh's defense is pretty bad, especially their secondary. They have a ton of issues there. But as far as this game was strange. I think that's how I would.
So weird.
It was such a weird game.
So weird.
Organized chaos, maybe, to use a word that Carlos used in the last with the Cardinals. Chaos. I mean, I think that's kind of what this game was. It's a little all over the place and unexpected, but big win for Pittsburgh. They needed it, but the fact that they had to go to overtime to beat Geno Smith, definitely a concern for them moving forward.
Geno
Seattle.
Smith.
Seattle's done this year. I think even if Russell comes back, I think they have a lot of issues. And I think when he comes back, I don't know what his timetable is, but it's
looking
bad.
like week 9 is probably when he's going to come back. And I just don't know if Seattle's going to have him in a good spot enough for them to try to even make a run.
Right. I totally agree.
Yeah.
But
I think that's all we got.
But can we talk? Can we talk real quick about Russell Wilson doing that dumb 2-minute drill by himself, making the play? Ready, break, and then
such a weirdo,
pretending to throw the ball. It's like, what the hell are you doing? Like, this is why Russell Wilson is insufferable.
He's practicing, Carlos. He's
insufferable to me. He's so fake.
Yeah, he's one of those.
God,
he's like one of those guys who sets up a YouTube channel and he says he's a motivational speaker and he just like says this random bullshit that people buy into. He's not that bad. I wouldn't put him on that level, but certainly like the fact that like, did he make a comment like I didn't know the cameras were rolling or something, or did somebody say that? Because I mean, I
don't know. I mean, like, you have the freaking, it's the whatever the sky cam thing. Like you can see it. It's recording you. It's pointed at you.
It was weird. It was really weird.
Maybe he just missed playing football. That was the first time he wasn't in the game, if I remember that stat correctly.
Congratulations. Did you see Dak out there trying to run play? Like, you're hurt. Why are you? And then he goes out during the coin toss. You know?
that was
what are you doing,
right.
dude?
That was not right. Yeah.
That's breaking
that's one of those unwritten rules, I think, in football. You don't
even the overtime coin toss.
No, you don't. You don't send out an injured player for a coin toss.
The crowd in Pittsburgh booed as soon as they realized it was Russell Wilson out there,
which they should have. Good for them. And I can't stand Pittsburgh. Good for them.
Wow. Yeah, but it was very interesting to see that video.
Just a really weird game from start to finish. So.
Absolutely. That was the hurry up offense. We will wrap things up right after this.
Hey there, this is Mark Francis of Icon Real Estate. If you have any real estate needs in the Winchester surrounding area, including West Virginia, give me a call. I've got extensive experience, been in the business for almost 20 years, and would love to help you out. Track me down at Icon Real Estate, iconsells.com, or even give me a call, 540-247-1527. Again, Icon Sells, ICONSELLS.com, and I would love to chat with you and help you out. Give me a call.
All right, we are back, the 3-man booth on the Kirby on Sports podcast. Gentlemen, what are we looking out for next week?
Well, I will start, I guess, since no one said anything. Just looking at these games,
there's not really a whole lot.
There's not a whole lot. There really isn't a whole lot.
This is another weird week. I mean, for me, it's kind of tough because the Cowboys aren't playing this week. Obviously, thank God it's the bye week, but it kind of sucks entertainment-wise.
Right. I think Chiefs and Titans is definitely a game I'm looking forward to seeing. I expect the Chiefs to win that game, but the way their defense is played and the way Derrick Henry's been playing, I don't know. I think he could run all over them.
Yep.
That could be a fun game. And we all know Tennessee's defense has struggled just as much, especially in the secondary. So Mahomes could go off too. That could be, both teams could score in the 40s, maybe 50s in that game. I really believe that could be a fun one. Surprised that's not a 4:00 game on CBS.
Yeah, it's a 1:00 game. Doesn't make sense.
I don't know. I'm trying to look and see. The Bears and Bucks are the 4:25 game on CBS. Ugh.
Yeah, that's going to be a very exciting football.
And
Sunday Night Football is Colts 49ers.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this week's kind of a dud as far as interesting games.
Really the only. I mean, the Bengals Ravens is going to be interesting.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to say. I think that's going to be a very interesting game.
But it's going to be on at the same time as Washington, Green Bay, the same time as Kansas City, Tennessee. What are we doing? Let's flex some of these games out of these time slots.
I agree.
Bengals, I'm not sure. I mean,
this is their big test. This is their first big test right now.
Yeah,
Well, not their
absolutely.
first for them, but this
Absolutely.
is this is a big test because obviously the Ravens right now are the top dogs of this division.
Yeah, and
I agree.
we can't sleep on Cincinnati. I mean, they played pretty good. They played pretty well, and divisional games are always tough anyway. But especially when Cincinnati has played a lot better than people expected, and we didn't expect there to be Ravens versus Bengals for the division lead. Like that was not something I don't think anyone envisioned. So that's definitely a game. I mean, I was gonna say that one. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna be watching that anyway. I'm a huge I'm a huge fan. So that should be a fun one. But interested to see how our defense does against Joe Burrow. We are pretty good historically getting pressure on young quarterbacks, so I'll be watching out to make sure that we take care of Joe Burrow, and not in a violent way, just in a sore the next day.
Contain him.
That's right.
All right. Well,
you guys,
I think that about wraps it up.
You're not going to tell us what you're looking forward to?
Yeah. What, you're not looking forward to the football team and the Packers?
You're not looking for Dan Snyder to sell the team to Aaron Rodgers so he can say he owns you guys too?
No, that you took mine, the Bengals and the Ravens. I feel like once again, this is a pretty big test for the Bengals. If they can potentially come out and keep the Ravens in check or beat them, that's going to be the telling on how good this Bengals team will be, in my opinion.
Also, that's a 7-point line. That's probably fair, but I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a field goal win for us. I just kind of feel that way. If we come out and blow them out, I can say I was wrong, and it's recorded, and it'll be out there for the world to hear. So,
yeah, this week isn't going to be the best football week. I feel like
no, this is not one of those weekends to watch Red Zone or something all weekend. So,
although I will say this NFL season has been fantastic so far. We've had great
blessed.
Game after great game. I think it's about time we finally have that week where it's like, maybe things just go the way they're supposed to go.
How about next week? Turn off the TV.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that wraps it up for the 3-man booth here. Gentlemen, any last words?
You hate to see it.
Yeah, hate to see it.
Live Moss.
All right.
You like that old-fashioned Taco Bell?
I was about to say, we're plugging Taco Bell in this, but
Absolutely.
Anyways.
Sponsor this podcast.
Our time is up here in the Trumbull Insurance Agency virtual studio for our sponsors, Regroup Building Services, PM Plus Reserves, Shenandoah Primitives, Dr. Dave Leadership Corporation, and Mark Francis with Icon Real Estate. This has been another edition of the Kirby on Sports podcast. For Dan and Carlos, I am Josh Kirby. Find all of our work, www.kirbyonsports.com. Follow us, subscribe, like anywhere you get podcasts, and on YouTube as well. Until the next time you hear our voices, always remember to create greatness. So long and peace out.